Welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. 78 Courier video. We're just going to be putzing a little bit today. It's finally starting to recover. Been a little under the weather. It's been a long year. Well, actually, no. It's next year. So anyway, I'm going to get back to looking at this little module and what I can do. I grabbed a GM regulator. I've got this Ford regulator. Unfortunately, I don't think this is really going to fit either of them, but let me take it open and see what we can do. And real quick, this particular regulator, you'll notice it's all busted up and there's a hole drilled through it. When you look inside, there's a light bulb. On a lot of SI alternators, if they're not set up as one wire, you need either a resistor to power or a light bulb, which acts as a resistor to power to start the field coil. So in the past, I've been known, obviously, to hide a light bulb somewhere if we don't have a dash generator bulb or alternator bulb to use, particularly if we've gone to newer Dakota Digitals dashes that are just voltmeters. They don't really have a way to provide the power to the field. And remember, if you just hook that up to switched ignition, it doesn't bleed down. You know, the stator will stay energized. So I'm going to look in here and see, you know, what could I do with that to make that work? That's a maybe. Of course, we've got a storm coming. And I've still got a bunch of snow to move and some weird things happening because it hit 35 the other day out of the blue. So a lot of weird things going on. Alright, but we forgot glasses. So we had to go back out and get some. So ShopDog is expecting another pretzel. Well, those aren't really going to work out. I just don't have the room. So conveniently I have a spare, more modern motor. And these are also HEI small cap based, you know, with the crab cap. So you can see this is the HEI module on this engine, which 98 pickup. And it's coil, which would work, but we also have this blaster coil. So we're planning to use that. Unfortunately, this module isn't going to work out for us, but luckily we have a module. So what I want is this mount. I want this heat sink. So what we're thinking is I've just gutted his old module because we don't need it. And I've taken this plate off of this engine and I've just put the 2 ticks that I need for the locating pins on. So that'll locate it. See, nicely located. Now I've got to change these through holes because they're not the same and then figure out how I want to mount this. This was mounted, let me swap hands here. Oh, let me back that up. So I've got to decide how I want to do it. So you can see it was like this. So it's a little cockeyed. But that means I can use existing holes in the body for these 2 things to become my mount for my heat sink. The thing I haven't figured out is, do I do it from the inside and have the connector sticking out the side, or do I just mount it here or however I need to? So this little wiring notch goes towards the engine. So if I went like that, you know, that would be pretty slick. Now, the one pair is easy because they're just 1/4 inch 56 series connectors. This one is a 250 and a 188. And I know this connector exists, but I have not been able to find a part number for it. Alright, I'm going to have to make a plate to go on top, and I'm going to have to find screws. It turns out I don't really actually have any screws that are suitable. I've just dug and dug and dug. I haven't used my thermal paste because this is just a exercise here, but made sure that connectors would clear. This side's not a problem. Because, okay, pretend that ground wasn't there. Let's see how that's gonna mount. I think that would be doable. I'd like to make something to cover this plate, you know, a sticker or some epoxy or something, you know, make it look a little nicer, maybe cut a piece of acrylic or something. But outside of that, I think this solution not only would work, but would work pretty well, because not only do we have a heat sink, but now we're also sinking heat out to the vehicle as well. So I think that's the approach we're taking. ShopDog's watching me. It just dawned on me, if I put the module to the inside like I did, that there's no reason I couldn't do that. And honestly, I think most people wouldn't even realize that's not correct, you know, having a harness coming off here. So that is the future. I still want to get better screws. I don't like what's there, so I'll have to buy those. I need a really weird length, unfortunately. So that's where we're at right now. And in case anybody hadn't noted, we have the hood now, and I put those pins in the channel. I tried recording videos when I grabbed the lights and stuff, and yeah, my voice was pretty shot. I know it's not great right now, but yeah, you really couldn't understand me at all. So that won't actually get posted, but I did pull lights and everything, get all that done. Yeah, just kind of winding down the holiday, hoping to feel a little better. Okay, we're back, starting to figure this out again. If you recall, this connector is for the washer pump, so I'm not going to be using that. And I think instead of the original exciter wire that was used, I'm actually going to set up a relay for the ignition system instead of running it up through all of that, because I just don't know what all is going on in here, and I don't think I trust it. Plus, I want to bring my own wiring over anyway. If you recall, we've got all these splices to deal with, and we're replacing as far upstream as we can, because this alternator has got about twice the current capability as the original. Welcome back to the Courier video. This is going to be the wrap-up from the other day. I've been pretty sick, and I got a real bad headache the other day, so I wrapped it up. But you can see what it's been out here. ShopDog's just running around like crazy trying to find places he can go. So got to make paths and trails for him. So let's come on in the shop. We haven't been here in a few days. So give me a minute and I'll get us set up. ShopDog's excited. We have shirts. So I'm wearing one. Here's another one. In the real ones, I've decided to make that a little bigger for the pocket. Hopefully that shows up. But yeah, we got shirts. We got hats. Well, in fact, I'm wearing a ShopDog hat. Those came out pretty cool. So I made him happy. Back to the serious note here. A couple things I wanted to point out. One, I have a question from somebody about, it's on a 302, but it's the same setup, on where water is coming from. Now, in this truck, instead of using this return, so see, we're feeding here, but we're returning to the radiator in this truck, because this truck has a return on the radiator. Normally that would be down on the water pump, but obviously we don't have that. So for the heater core stuff, that's how that's working. But on almost every engine I've done EFI swaps on, I've had to add a few, various locations. On this engine, you can see just on the other side, well, this one doesn't even have a thermostat, but even back when it did have a thermostat, on the hot side of the thermostat, just drilled, tapped, added a sensor. Not a big deal. You really got to look at what you got and decide where the best location is. This one, I believe I only tapped to 3/8 instead of 1/2 inch. So, you got to play it as you do it. This sensor is going to run the electric water pump. This sensor runs the gauges. So if we were to add a EFI as well, we would probably have to add one more temp sensor, because sharing those sensors is actually a lot more difficult than it sounds. So if I had to add another one, it'd probably be in the side here or something like that. It'd be a real pain in the butt. But, it is what it is. And then if you recall, we were working this out, and deciding how we want to handle that. I think one of the things I would like to do is get to a point where I can test that option. You know, to be able to just kind of wiggle the sensor back and forth and watch it spark. But that's not going to be today. This right now is really about wrapping this video up so that I can post it from a week ago. I've got a couple other videos I've got to wrap up and post, but being sick has just ruined it all. So anyway, ShopDog says, thanks for watching.